A very good evening and a warm welcome to everyone joining in today for the live webinar conducted by Manipal Global Next University. My name is Aparna and I work as a marketing and communications manager at Manipal Global Education Services, Bangalore. Today's session, you can learn how you can leverage your prior work experience to earn your degree, MBA degree in less than the stipulated time of 2 years. For any questions that you may have, we request you to please type it out in the question panel in the widget. We will be answering the questions towards the end of the session. I would like to introduce our esteemed speaker for today. Joining us all the way from Malaysia is Dr. Chinmay Sahu, who's the Vice Chancellor of Manipal Global Next University. Good evening, Doctor, and thank you for joining us. I know it's very late in Malaysia.
Yeah, thank you.
Over to you, Doctor.
Okay, great. So I don't think I'll take a lot of time of yours, but yes, thank you for joining in to this webinar. And first of all, let me just quickly set the context. So first, of course, let me explain what you see on the screen here, especially this part of the screen which is being highlighted. And there you see something written as 20 years of excellence in online learning. So we are actually celebrating the 20th year of our existence, and which basically started in Singapore as U21 Global. So therefore we are doing a number of series of webinars, and this is one such webinar in that series. And we are talking about the university and its programs and how you can actually benefit from the innovations that we have done over the last 20 years. So without further ado, let me just quickly introduce Manipal as a group. As you can see from the slide here, Manipal has a presence across the world, especially this map here. And the statistics here, of course, speak for themselves. And these pictures that you see are all our campuses spread across the world. And of course, today I would be speaking more about Manipal Global Next University and its offering, and specifically the Master of Business Administration program, and of course, how you can leverage your experience to make it a compelling alternative to further your learning. Okay, so let me start quickly and go ahead. So as I was saying, we were basically established in 2001, and our first course was actually offered in 2002, and that's how we are celebrating this year as our 20th anniversary, which is a very important milestone, considering that when it started in 2001, not many thought that online learning was a compelling choice for people. But we did prove that yes, we were maybe ahead of our times. But over the years, we have touched about the lives of about 12,000 plus years plus learners across the world, right? And of course, when we started out, we had the blessings of some very reputed academic institutions, some of which you can see here, and that is how U21 Global was born. And of course, in 2012, we got full university status under the Manipal Group, and today we are a 100% Manipal entity registered in Malaysia as a recognized, fully recognized university, imparting number of courses that are accredited, right? And these are some of the bodies and agencies which actually, for example, this Malaysian qualification agency is our nodal accreditation body in Malaysia, which basically accredits all the courses that universities offer from the country of Malaysia, right? And of course, we are also uh, members of a number of these very reputed bodies, which include the Association of Commonwealth Universities, Association of Open Universities, International Council for Open and Distance Education, EFMD, which stands for European Foundation for Management Development, WES, many of you would already know, and MICON, ASCSP, again, a very reputed body. So we are members, and in fact, all these memberships do point to the belief in the quality of what we are trying to do. So worldwide, we are actually recognized for whatever we are offering. So over these 20 years, in fact, we have made some serious innovations which has changed the way people learn. Of course, the first is on-demand learning, and much like anything that you can actually order on demand, learning is not an exception. Okay, and that's how all our content, etc., is available on demand, and you decide where you want to learn and how you want to learn, right? And secondly, we have a very flexible learning system. We do not follow the semester based learning, we follow a milestone based learning, whereby you finish the modules, the different modules that you have to complete in a particular program, and we leave the choice to you about how many modules you take and which term you take them, right? So it's quite flexible, and within each term, again, you have broad windows that allow you the flexibility to work, study, and balance your family life. And of course, all our learning is completely application based. We do not stress on memory oriented learning, and we strongly believe in work integrated learning. And later on in this webinar, you would notice why this work integrated learning is so important. And of course, 30% of the grades in our programs actually come from social learning, which means it's not isolated learning, isolated self-paced learning, but actually you interact with the peers that are spread across the world within each class. So it's not just interaction between the student and the professor, the student and student, because the broad profile of our students is about 15 plus years of experience and working and studying, right? So you can actually gain a lot from the different perspectives that come from different parts of the world and from different backgrounds. So it's an amazing social learning experience. And we started with this much before even some of the social learning networks, social media networks that you know were not even existing back in 2002, right? So going ahead, let me quickly talk about the Master of Business Administration program. Um, so this program is basically spread across 7 core modules, 2 electives, and a research project. So if you see, here are the core subjects that are listed. It covers all the essential functions of a business, like people, marketing, economics, finance, data analysis, strategic management, and so on and so forth. And then you have a broad choice of about 40 elective subjects to choose from. Basically, you need to do just 2 electives out of that, but you have a full plate of full range of 40 elective subjects to choose from. And then, of course, the research project, which is the final celebration of your learning. So this is the broad structure of the MBA program, and of course it can be flexi-paced. You can complete it in as short as 12 months or as long as even 36 months. Right? And this is the bouquet of the electives that you can choose. And of course, in MBA, we offer the based on the choice of electives, we offer the specialization. So the specialization would get mentioned on the transcript, and the specialization would depend on whether you're doing both the electives from the same area. For example, if you do two electives from the finance column here, you will get a finance specialization. Similarly, instead, if you choose to do two modules from the marketing, then you get the marketing specialization mentioned on your transcript. So you have a number of choices here from finance, marketing, information technology, project management, all the way up to analytics, healthcare management, and HR management. Right. So as I said, you need to just select two from this entire range of elective subjects that are available, and of course we keep adding new elective subjects as and when the industry trend demands. And this is a sample progression, the way you can complete this program in 2 years. Okay, and for example, you can these black cells indicate that is when you are doing this particular module. Then in the next term, you do two. Of course, you can again play around, do three here, two here, one here, depending on your availability. And so it's a completely flexible structure, and this is 44 credits. So all these courses are 4 credits except research project, which is 8 credits, and electives are again of 4 credits. Okay. Now we also have a Doctor of Business Administration program, which of course is a 80 credit mixed mode program where you have a bit of coursework and then the thesis. So basically it's a 3-year program, and you can again 3 years the minimum, but I will later tell you how it can be even shorter than 3 years. And of course you have the flexibility to stretch it to 5 years as well, but I know all of you would be wanting to finish it as early as possible, so that's quite possible that we'll talk later. So the DBA program, of course, is spread across 3 years, and you can see there are three different levels of courses there. One is business and management skills, where you have all the functional areas, and then you have the research skills, where you have 4 modules, which basically allow you to master the research techniques that you can apply in your thesis, and then you go ahead and work on the thesis. So this is the DBA program, and of course all these programs are delivered through our cutting edge learning portal. It's intelligent and very engaging. Some screenshots here are presented for your benefit, and of course here, for example, the way our content is structured, the dashboard where you can see a lot of these things, and then of course time-wise schedule of when and what kind of assessment items are due, right? And of course we also have the e-library, which boasts of some of the best collections that you can think of, and these same resources are actually used by a number of other leading world-class universities across the world. Okay, now coming to the main topic of our discussion here. So let me just briefly tell you that the whole context is how can you use your work experience, your life experiences to prove that you have achieved learning outcomes that help you gain some degrees like the MBA in a shorter duration, so that you do not again need to take courses which the learning outcome of which you have already achieved through alternate ways. So the Manipal Global Next University is actually has been given the mandate by the government of Malaysia to run the accreditation of prior experiential learning. It's called APPLE. C stands for credit transfer. So It's a fully recognized initiative by the government of Malaysia. They have seen our system, and they've basically given us the approval after seeing our proposal to go ahead with this kind of an accreditation of learning. So at the heart of this entire scheme of things is that there are multiple ways of achieving learning outcomes. This we have recognized, and this we realize that an individual does not only learn in the classroom. The individual learns from his workplace, from experiences in his workplace, from his experiences in other interactions. Okay, so there are multiple ways of achieving learning outcome. And what we have in our courses is a set learning outcome that we seek all learners to achieve by taking the program and the courses within that program. Okay. So what we are trying to say here is that those learning outcomes that are there in our courses, you can actually achieve it not just by taking our courses, but otherwise also through multiple ways. I'll share some examples later on. And the whole purpose is to avoid duplication of learning. Okay. So that is what we are trying to achieve finally. And that is how you can use your experience to save the the effort that goes into duplication of learning. And therefore, you can maximize your time and shorten the duration of your learning to achieve the same degree, right? Okay, so how do you basically gain? So under the provisions of APL C, which is, as I said, is a provision given by the government of Malaysia to us, learners can get maximum 30% of the credits of any program waived. So for example, I was showing you earlier, an MBA program is 44 credits. So 30% of roughly 40 credits can be transferred using the provisions of experiential learning. And since you're saving 30% of the efforts that are required to complete the program, you're therefore also shortening the duration of the program by 30%. So for example, a 2-year MBA program can be shortened to almost 1.5 years only. Similarly, a Doctor of Business Administration program, which is 3 years, can be shortened and completed in 2 years. Right? So this is the added benefit. You not only save the efforts from saving the duplication of learning, you also save 30% of the duration of the program, right? And this opens an interesting pathway. For example, many of you may not have bachelor's but want to do a doctorate. In that case, actually you can come into our MBA program, use the provisions of APL C to shorten the MBA program so that you are eligible to enter the DBA program. And the interesting part is once you have used the provisions of APL under the master's program, nothing stops you from using it again at the doctorate level. So you not only use the APL C provisions in your MBA program, you also use it in the DBA program. And overall, if you see, you can basically complete your MBA plus DBA in as short as 1 year. 3 years, right? So basically, you're saving. Normally, an MBA plus DBA would basically stretch up to 5 years. 2 years MBA and 3 years DBA, but using APL and the accelerated pathway, you're able to save 2 years and still achieve your doctorate program within a period of 3 years. Of course, that is under the premise that you get the entire 30% of benefits which you need to demonstrate. So in my next few slides, I'll show you how that is done. So under the provisions of Apple C, basically we assess whether the learner has gained the learning outcomes of our courses through other mediums. Okay, now for example, in this slide I have listed the 4 learning outcomes that is part of our marketing management course in the MBA program. Okay. Now remember, the Apple assessment has to be done at a modular level for each module, because the learning outcomes are different for each subject, each module. Therefore, the assessment has to be done separately for each module. Okay, and now, of course, once you are able to successfully demonstrate that you have achieved these learning outcomes through your past experience, then you have waived this entire module. So it is not just 30% of this module, you get waived completely this module. So marketing management you need not again complete as part of the MBA program, right? So what this graphic here illustrates is there are 2 ways of presenting evidence to show that you have achieved the learning outcomes. In fact, and these 2 ways are not mutually exclusive. In fact, you can use both of them parallelly. But basically, these 2 mechanisms are, one is test and the other is portfolio. So portfolio, of course, all of you know, is the way of showcasing how you have actually done in your professional work related and other the other achievements that you have made during the course of your work, right? So you can showcase that. I will in my next slide show some examples of how you can do that. And if you do not have those evidences, but you still know, you think that you know this, for example, these are the outcomes of marketing. If you do not have the evidences, hard evidences to show that you've achieved it through your portfolio, you can always take the test. So for example, if you know that, yes, you can explain fundamental marketing theories and principles, you can analyze consumer and business markets, and you can develop marketing mix strategies, you know how to manage a firm's global marketing function. In that case, but you do not have any evidence to show for, you can still take the test and prove that you already know these and you've already achieved these learning outcomes. Okay, so that is what this graphic is trying to suggest, that yes, there are different ways and you can actually then go through the assessment, and if you're successful, the module gets waived. And of course, you can do this with parallelly with more than one module. As I said, 30% of the modules of a program you can apply under APO. So that gives you tremendous benefit of shortening the entire program duration. So these are the evidences, for example, especially the portfolio evidences that I was talking about. Some might be direct, some might be indirect. For example, if you see direct evidence is very clear, you have certificates, etc., which are part of your portfolio, courses completed. So these are direct evidence. Indirect evidence is written records from diaries, records, journals, articles, emails, etc. In fact, I'm coming to that. And then under the direct evidence, we have work samples, for example, the presentations, the project diagrams, photographs, etc. And the indirect evidence also has email, customer feedback, etc. And again, workplace activities. So this could be in the form of notes, etc. And then documents like media articles, meritorious awards, and then supporting letters. So some are direct and some are indirect, and all these evidences are actually admissible in your 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 objective of proving that you've achieved these learning outcomes. Okay, so I just gave one example of a marketing module and the learning outcomes to show you how you can achieve these learning outcomes and prove that yes, you have achieved it outside the classroom, right? So this is entirely the concept of Apple C, and therefore this, as I said, you save a lot of effort, and this is an excellent way and a very futuristic way of recognizing the fact that learning does not happen only in the classroom. Okay. So, and as I was saying, the average profile of our students is 15 plus years of experience. So a lot of students have actually gained through these experiential learning assessment. So with that, I come to the end of this session. But yes, I would like to take a few questions. Now, some of the questions that let me just see if there are any questions on the maybe Laura, you can just prompt me if you see any questions. But let me quickly discuss some of the common questions that are asked. So number one is eligibility. So for the Master of Business Administration program, it is a master's level program. So the eligibility is very simple. You need a bachelor's degree with minimum 2 years professional managerial work experience to get into our program. And the duration of the program, that's another frequently asked question. So the duration of the Master of Business Administration program is flexible. It can be finished in 1 year or 2 years. And as I said, using Apple, again, it further shortens the program. The other question that is often asked is, if you do not have a bachelor's, can you use Apple to prove your eligibility to enter the MBA program? No, the Apple C does not allow skipping of a level. So you can't go from, say, school to master's directly. You have to finish bachelor's. Similarly, from bachelor's, you can't go directly into the doctorate program using accreditation of prior experiential learning. Accreditation of prior experiential learning only benefits you if you already satisfy the eligibility norms. The whole idea, as I explained, the C word in Apple C. C stands for credit transfer. It does not stand for um, access to courses without eligibility. Right. So only if you satisfy the eligibility, we can further help you to shorten your duration of learning. Right. So this is another question, and some questions about our doctorate program also. I want to just discuss. One of the questions asked is, can we finish before 3 years doctorate program? So the simple answer is yes, using Apple C, of course you can, and it can be as short as 2 years. It can't be any shorter, but yes, if you are let me just see if there are some questions. Yeah, but if you do you know okay, the question says, is there any differentiation in terms of the recognition of MBA program as compared to other MBA programs? Okay, I see Shraddha asking that question. Okay, I'll answer that in a few moments, but let me again just complete that question on how soon can you complete the Doctor of Business Administration program, and that will also apply to MBA program. So can you, for example, as I said, the DBA program can be completed in 2 years using the provisions of Apple C. but can you do it even shorter, even at a shorter duration? For example, 1.5 years. That is again completely dependent on you. As I said, we follow a milestone based approach where if you cross the milestones, you can actually complete the program in any duration of your choice. Okay. And what this means is that yes, you can complete your program and we can give you a letter of completion also. However, for the convocation and certificate, you have to wait for the minimum duration, which is 2 years if you get all the waivers under APLC. Otherwise, it's 3 years if you do not exercise the provisions of APLC. Okay, the question from Shraddha now, is there any differentiation in terms of recognition of MBA program? Okay, there are two major differences here. The credit system that is followed internationally is different from the Indian credit system. This you must understand. And therefore, in typical Indian MBA program, you will have 20 plus modules, typically 25 and more number of subjects you have to complete, because the credits are of shorter rigor, and therefore what it means that you have to do a number of modules to gain the credits. Whereas internationally, and Malaysia follows the same credit system as US and Australia, and here you need basically 40 credits to complete the MBA program, and which, since all our 4 credits, all our modules are of 4 credits, it's basically translates to around 10 modules, right? So that is what you need to. So 10 versus 25 plus. That is one major difference. Number two, there is no difference in the um, in the um, in the program as such. In fact, the international programs would be superior. One is, of course, for the credit structure, and secondly, our programs are recognized worldwide because the test of um, a foreign or international MBA program like ours is the first thing that, for example, whichever country you go with our degree, they'll first check whether the degree and the university is recognized in its home country. And that is what exactly we do. When you apply to our program from after having done your bachelor's from an Indian university, the first check that we do is whether the course and the university from or the college from where you did your bachelor's is recognized by the government of India. The moment it is recognized, we accept your qualification, and that is the worldwide practice. So it is important that the program and the university should be well recognized in the home country, and we are fully recognized here in Malaysia. We enjoy the recognition of Ministry of Higher Education, Malaysia, and the Malaysian Qualification Agency. So, and of course, I said we are members of number of different bodies, and for example, even WES, which provides equivalence to courses in Canada and US, has successfully provided equivalence to many of our students who have approached WES for Canada and US. Right? So that speaks volumes about the quality of our program. So, in summary, you can be rest assured that our program is very high quality program, and of course it is delivered in a completely global context, in the sense our faculty is spread across the world. You get even the students, your peers are across the world. So it's a truly global program, and a program like a management or business administration program actually matters if it has that global perspective in the curriculum and the pedagogy. So I see that question. I hope I have answered your question to your satisfaction. Okay, good. Okay, fine. So I don't see any more questions. So over to you, Elora. Just see if there are more questions. Otherwise, we can wind up this session.
Yeah, that was the only question we had, Dr. Chinmay. Thank you so much. I think you've explained the accreditation process in great detail and how one can earn their MBA or DBA degree in a shorter duration, where time is an essence for a working professional. I think this accreditation will help them achieve their goals in a shorter duration. For more details on our program, please do scan the QR code given here or visit the website and or reach out to us on the email ID and phone numbers that are given. And we will be ending the webinar now. Thank you, one and all. Have a good evening, and thank you, Dr. Chinmay, again. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.